You know how some cars are just legends? The kind of vehicle that when you see it, you don't just think that's a car, you think of adventure, reliability, and stories. Well, the Toyota Land Cruiser is one of those icons. For decades, it's been the go-anywhere, do-anything SUV that's just as comfortable crossing the desert as it is pulling up to a nice dinner downtown. And now, after a lot of anticipation, the 2026 Toyota Land Cruiser is on its way, and it looks like Toyota is blending all the best parts of its history with some seriously modern updates. This isn't just another SUV refresh, it's Toyota bringing back the spirit of the Land Cruiser while making it more accessible, more stylish, and more in tune with today's drivers. Whether you're the kind of person who dreams about hitting rugged trails or you just want a tough, reliable family SUV that's got serious heritage behind it, the new Land Cruiser has a lot to get excited about. So, let's talk about what makes this upcoming Land Cruiser so interesting, starting with the first thing everyone notices, the design. The new Land Cruiser immediately stands out because it feels like Toyota went back to its roots. The styling doesn't try to be overly flashy or futuristic, it's bold, boxy, and purposeful, like a Land Cruiser should be. You get those classic straight edges, a tall stance, and that unmistakable front end that gives off serious retro vibes, almost like a nod to the older 70s and 80s Land Cruisers. At the same time, it doesn't look dated, it feels tough and modern, kind of like Toyota found the sweet spot between heritage and the needs of today's drivers. The grille is squared off with Toyota's lettering right across it, which is such a cool throwback detail, and the headlights have this simple round shape that screams off-road personality. From the side, you can see those strong shoulders and squared-off wheel arches. It's the kind of silhouette that instantly says rugged. It's not trying to be a sleek crossover, it's probably an SUV built for adventure. And the best part? It looks like something you'd actually want to take out in the dirt, but it still looks clean enough that you wouldn't think twice about parking it in the city. Now, this is where things get really interesting. The Land Cruiser has always been known for having engines that are durable, reliable, and ready to go the distance. But with the 2026 model, Toyota is bringing in some modern tech that changes the game a little bit, a hybrid powertrain. Don't worry, it's not the kind of hybrid that's just about squeezing out a couple extra miles per gallon, it's built for strength and efficiency. Toyota's giving the Land Cruiser a 2.4-liter turbocharged four-cylinder paired with a hybrid system, and together they crank out plenty of power, right around 325 horsepower and over 460 pound-feet of torque. That's actually more torque than the old V8s ever gave you, which means better pull, smoother acceleration, and plenty of muscle when you're climbing hills or hauling gear. It's like Toyota figured out a way to keep the Land Cruiser tough but also more eco-conscious. And here's the cool part. Because of the hybrid setup, you're not just getting more torque, you're also getting better efficiency. That means this Land Cruiser isn't going to guzzle gas the way older ones did. For people who've always loved the Land Cruiser but hesitated because of fuel costs, this could be a real game changer. You can hit the trails, explore the backroads, and still feel a little less guilty at the pump. What I love is that Toyota didn't just go hybrid for the sake of headlines. They really seem to have tuned this thing for off-road strength and everyday usability. The electric motor gives you that instant torque down low, which is perfect when you're crawling over rocks or trying to power through tough terrain. It feels like the Land Cruiser is stepping into the future while still respecting its old-school rugged DNA. If there's one reason the Land Cruiser became such a legend, it's because it could handle just about anything you threw at it. Mud, sand, snow, rocks, you name it, the Land Cruiser would get you through. And with the 2026 model, Toyota clearly didn't forget that heritage. Right out of the box, the new Land Cruiser is equipped with some serious off-road gear. You've got full-time four-wheel drive, which means it's always ready to put power down to all four wheels when you need traction. There's a center-locking differential for those really tough situations, and Toyota's also adding features like crawl control, basically an off-road cruise control that lets you focus on steering while the system manages throttle and braking. It sounds fancy, but for anyone who's been on tricky terrain, you know how much easier that can make life. And then there's the suspension setup. The Land Cruiser rides on Toyota's TNGAF platform, the same one used in the new Tundra and Sequoia. So it's got that rugged, body-on-frame toughness. The ground clearance is plenty for clearing rocks and ruts, and the approach and departure angles look great for tackling steep trails. It feels like Toyota made sure this SUV isn't just dressed up to look rugged, it's actually built to perform. One of my favorite touches is the multi-terrain select system. You can literally dial in the type of surface you're driving on, like sand, mud, or rock, and the vehicle adjusts throttle, traction, and braking to give you the best grip possible. Combine that with the instant torque from the hybrid system, and you've got an SUV that's just itching to be tested out on some backcountry roads. But here's the kicker, all of this off-road toughness doesn't mean it's a brute on pavement. Toyota's aiming for a balance here, so while you can conquer trails on the weekend, you'll still get a smooth, comfortable drive during the week. That's the magic of the Land Cruiser. It's always been an all-rounder, and the 2026 model seems to carry that torch beautifully. The old Land Cruisers were always known for being tough and durable on the outside, but inside? They were more about function than flash. With this new generation, Toyota has really leaned into comfort and modern tech while still keeping that rugged, utilitarian vibe people expect. The first thing you'll notice is the clean, straightforward layout. It doesn't feel cluttered or overly complicated, which is exactly what you want in a vehicle that's built for adventure. Big knobs and buttons are easy to grab even if you're wearing gloves, and the overall design feels solid and purposeful, like everything has a reason to be there. Of course, you also get the modern goodies. There's a big 12.3-inch touchscreen on higher trims, with Toyota's latest infotainment system, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, the works. The digital gauge cluster gives you a ton of customizable information, and the camera systems are super helpful, especially the multi-terrain monitor that shows you what's happening underneath and around the vehicle. That's the kind of feature that can save your bumper on a rocky trail. Seating is another area where Toyota made some smart choices. Depending on the trim, you can get either durable fabric that's perfect for people who plan to get muddy, or nice leather if you want a touch of luxury. The seats themselves are comfortable and supportive for long trips, but still practical enough that you won't stress about a little dirt or wear. And the back seats fold flat to give you a ton of cargo space, perfect for camping gear, overlanding setups, or just hauling the family's stuff around town. It also feels more connected than past models. You've got multiple USB-C ports, wireless charging, and even a premium JBL sound system available if you're into your road trip playlists. It's like Toyota finally said, okay, this is still an adventure SUV, but we live in 2026, so let's give people the tech they expect. All in all, the cabin feels like a really good balance, rugged enough to handle dirt and dust, but comfortable and modern enough that you'd be happy driving it every single day. Now, one of the biggest surprises about this new Land Cruiser is that Toyota has actually made it more affordable than people expected. For a long time, the Land Cruiser had drifted into this really high-end, almost luxury SUV price bracket, well out of reach for a lot of enthusiasts who loved the name but couldn't justify the cost. With the 2026 model, Toyota seems to be bringing it back to its roots as a more approachable, adventure-ready SUV. The starting price is set right around the mid-$50,000 range, which is a huge difference from the $85,000 plus price tags the older Land Cruisers were known for. That means more people can actually consider owning one again, which honestly feels like a smart move by Toyota. It's almost like they realized the Land Cruiser name shouldn't just be reserved for the wealthy, it should be for folks who actually want to use it. Of course, there are different trims to fit different kinds of buyers. The entry-level 1958 trim keeps things simple, with fabric seats and all the essentials you'd want in a rugged SUV. It's kind of a throwback, in the best way, for people who don't care about bells and whistles and just want a tough, capable Land Cruiser. Then you've got the mid-level trims, which add more comfort features, bigger screens, and some upgraded interior materials. And at the top end, there's the fully loaded version with leather, the premium sound system, heated and ventilated seats, all the creature comforts you'd want if you plan to use your Land Cruiser as a daily driver as much as a trail machine. The cool thing is, no matter which trim you pick, you're still getting the same engine, the same off-road capability, and the same rugged bones. Toyota isn't holding back the good stuff just for the higher trims. It feels like they really wanted every version of this Land Cruiser to be a proper Land Cruiser. So, whether you want the basic, no-nonsense adventurer or a more refined, family-friendly setup, Toyota's giving you options and all at a price that's way more approachable than before. When you step back and look at the 2026 Toyota Land Cruiser, it feels like Toyota really listened to what fans have been asking for. They brought back the classic boxy styling, added a modern hybrid engine that's both powerful and efficient, packed in real off-road capability, updated the interior with all the tech we need today, and maybe best of all, priced it in a way that makes it attainable again. It's not just a return of the Land Cruiser, it's almost like a rebirth of what made it such a legend in the first place. And honestly, that's why this one feels so important. The Land Cruiser isn't just another SUV, it's a symbol of adventure, of reliability, of Toyota's no-nonsense approach to building vehicles that last a lifetime. Seeing it come back in such a strong way is exciting not just for hardcore enthusiasts, but for anyone who's ever dreamed about owning one. Now, I'm curious, would you daily drive the new Land Cruiser, or would you keep it as your weekend adventure rig? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I love hearing how you'd use a truck like this. And hey, if you enjoyed hanging out and geeking out about cars with me, don't forget to hit that like button, it really helps the channel grow. And if you're not already subscribed, now's the perfect time, because we've got plenty more deep dives and first looks at upcoming rides just like this one. So buckle up, because if this is what Toyota's cooking up for the Land Cruiser, the next few years in the SUV world are going to be seriously fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.